Welcome back to another episode of the Cast Patrol podcast. We've got a very special episode this week. We got Brent Zerafa from racing.com.
Massive upgrade from Jimmy. He's useless.
Brent can actually tip some winners for us. So we'll get straight in. Yeah, exactly. So it's good. Thanks for joining with us and giving us a bit of time. And if you hate us by the end, just let us know and flick us off.
Boys. Happy to be here.
Perfect. We'll jump straight into it. So how did you get into racing and how did all the media start?
Through family, I got into racing. My father was sort of owned and raced his own horses, standardbreds like harness horses, before I was born. And then I grew up in Sydney, out near Hawkesbury, near Windsor Way. We had an acreage with horses. And then one thing led to another. We had horses in the backyard. Used to go to the races with Dad a lot. But I never saw it as something that I wanted to necessarily work in. But then I went to university, moved to Canberra and started studying communications, and I needed to get some work experience, and I ended up getting some work experience at the Sportsman newspaper, which I'm not sure if you boys sort of aware of what the Sportsman
is. I've heard of it.
It's a bit before our time.
Yeah, it's almost a relic.
Past us now.
It's a little bit of a relic now, but
testament to how long you've been going on for.
Yeah, and that was 2005, and then I did some work experience there. They kept asking me to come back, and then they offered me a job at the end of my first year of university.
Oh, right.
That's the dream.
At the time, well, they still are owned by News Limited, so that's Daily Telegraph, Sunday Telegraph, were all in the one section. And so I was I started work, I left uni, and my job was to type in the results in the SP panels on a Sunday morning. So I'd literally sit in the office, watch the races. As they cross the line, I'd type, Black Caviar first, Price, SP, write the jockeys' names in, type all the jockeys' names in the form guides, all that sort of stuff. And then one thing led to another. I was only a junior burger there at the time. I was like 19.
And were you punting as well during this time?
I was heavily I was interested in racing all the time. But then this was like a job, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. And then sort of was on the form guide production, and then started writing stories and. I did my cadetship there at News Limited for 2 years, and sort of worked onto the racing desk and sort of got into it that way. I worked at the Telegraph for a while. Then I got picked up by TVN. They asked me if I wanted to do some sort of TV work. I'd never done that before. It was a bit scary.
You scared? Yeah.
I was. It was a real sort of change, but I was young.
Yeah, from really entering data into TV work, massive change.
Well, I sort of went from entering data to writing stories, but then sort of got to know trainers and jockeys and going to the races and doing that sort of thing. And then that's when TVN sort of come and offered me a job. But and then, so I've been at racing.com sort of on the back of that and been in Melbourne for 7 years. And
You're liking it down there?
Yeah, it's good. It's different. I know Sydney's had a lot of rain at the moment, but
more rainy days than sunny ones, apparently.
But I do, majority of my family is based in Sydney still. But Melbourne's home at the moment. I've got a great gig. I love working at racing.com. They're a good company to work for, and things are going pretty well.
Perfect. Love that. Are there any rules you live by when dissecting the form?
I would say don't, be open to everything. Don't think you know everything in terms of you can always keep learning. I'm still learning. I'm not saying I'm a genius by any stretch of the imagination, but listen to as many people as possible and don't think you've worked it out, basically, because there's still plenty of things you can do. But I like to stick to a certain area. I basically not only follow, but large part of my betting, a huge majority is just Victoria only.
Oh, really? Yeah. Just because you're down in that bubble?
Stick to what you know.
Stick to what I know.
You're an expert
that's basically, stick to what I know. Yeah. I find it hard to stay on track of Victoria, let alone... watch
every
racing everywhere else. And I'll still watch racing, but if you called up a set of fields at Sydney on a Wednesday or on a Saturday, I'd know the horses, but I don't really know their form.
Yeah, for sure.
That makes sense. That's good. That's
so I try
strategy.
to stick to the area where sort of I'm focused in, and at the moment that's Melbourne, and even away from the metros is sort of where I like to bet. I feel Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays and Fridays, those sort of meetings.
Yeah, I feel that's where we go wrong. We're NRL experts, so we say, and we're betting on everything: dogs, NFL, soccer, and we know much more about NRL.
Well, and that's the same thing. You stick to it's easy to bet everywhere, but to try and know what you're doing and have a bit of an edge, or give yourself a bit of an edge, knowing what you're betting.
You got to bet smart.
Clearly, definitely.
So what's the biggest win you've ever had?
Or
on the
best
punt?
win, biggest win, yeah.
Biggest win I've ever had. I actually had a really good win on a horse that just recently that comes to mind. A horse that my dad owns through with Bjorn Baker called Savoury.
Oh, yeah.
Went around 30-1, had a good bet on it recently and got the cash. It was just
At 30s.
30s.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can you tell us how much you staked?
No, I had a decent whack on it.
Are we talking triple figures? You go that hard?
Yeah.
Are we going to Hawaii with the budget, or where we go?
It was a decent. Yeah, it was a decent. The reason why it was big odds. It's a horse that loved dry tracks, and all its form through the rain in Sydney has been on wet ground. Got onto a dry track for the first time in ages, and it just sort of jumped out of the ground. So
Yeah, right.
that was pretty good. That was only a couple of months ago, but it was really good.
Well, like speaking of winners, how do you celebrate like a big day on the punt, like a big win? Is there any formula?
As I've got older, like when I was younger, probably your age, I used to sort of party a lot more than I'm doing now. But I'm sort of, I don't really celebrate that much. Like maybe just go to the pub and have a few beers with the boys, maybe go out for dinner. Like nothing too exciting these days. Yeah. Well, sort of my work sort of is the main part of what I have to do, and that sort of when I have a bet, still got to turn up generally to go to work the next day. So I like to keep it relatively even keel, but I still don't mind treating myself to a good meal every now and again, as you can probably feel.
Some lobster won't go down too bad.
On that note, I'll just chuck in a quick this or that. Would you rather chicken palmy or a steak at a pub?
At a pub?
Yep.
I'd say palmy.
Yeah, you got to go chicken palmy?
Chicken palmy.
Well, just think something they can really fuck up a steak. Right? Can I swear?
Yeah, you can swear.
That's right.
You can do whatever you want.
They can stuff up a steak at a pub.
Do you say palmy or Palmer?
I'd say Palmer.
Palmer, really?
Yeah.
I'm more of a palmy.
I'm a palmy man.
Yeah, I'd say Palmer.
Do you reckon that's a Victoria thing, or you reckon you've adopted that?
To be honest, I don't know. Like, I spent most of my time living.
I think it could be.
I only moved to Melbourne when I was, what am I now? When I was just short of 30. So the majority of my life's been in Sydney. I don't know. I'd still probably, I don't know whether I call myself a Sydney sider or.
You're still undecided.
Well, this
I'm
or
a
that.
South Sydney supporter anyway. That's
that's just like us.
That is definitely
Should
amazing.
listen to our podcast.
You said Chook's fan, we're going to cut this recording
Yeah,
short.
with a shot.
I hate the
Yes, obviously done well in the media career, especially with racing.com. And we've seen you on Thursday nights with the Get On segment. And you've developed a bit of a reputation with the boys for the Let It Ride.
Yeah.
You can't tip a canoe, apparently.
It's a bit of fun. The boys here having a good time.
We've got a little live audience here.
It was the situation where I tipped a couple of things that kept getting beat, and it does happen. But I think it goes to show like everything has its price. Like one day I tipped Nature Strip. Like
It came fourth.
best horse in the world.
The best was
Best
Very
sprinter.
Elegant.
Very like
$1.20.
Got a few of them beat.
5-horse field.
No, that wasn't. I don't think that was me. I don't know if that was me that got Very Elegant.
Because I saw that on the video that you posted.
Maybe.
It probably was you.
But the best one's the Nature Strip where you had to shave your head.
Shave my head, and that it's a bit of fun.
Yeah.
Like I enjoy sort of doing what we do. We're not I don't take myself too seriously. I've tipped a few losers, but it is what it is. It was good fun.
It's not a bad run.
It is what it is.
So look, we've got every week we do segments. So we got this or that. So basically it's simple. It's do you prefer this or that?
Yeah.
So we go over the scenario stage, and do you want to
This
start?
is my segment, so I'll take over. So this or that, meat pie or sausage roll?
Sausage roll,
Okay.
Nice. What sauce do you have on it?
tomato.
Okay.
But I'd actually go with chicken. If you said chicken pie,
Oh, so
I'd
chicken
really-
pie over
I'm a
sausage roll?
big chicken pie man. Yeah,
That's
I love
like
a
Jimmy.
chicken pie,
We've
yeah.
actually replaced Jimmy with Jimmy.
You're our Jimmy.
Chicken pies.
No.
BZ's
Very,
new
very
Jimmy.
hard to beat a chicken pie.
No.
Okay, this or that, never watch NRL again or never watch horse racing again?
Away from like career side.
Never watch NRL again.
Right.
Okay.
Is that just because
clear? That's the clear answer?
I
or-
get more enjoyment out of horse racing than I do NRL.
Does it have
I
to do
love,
with-
I love NRL, but
Yeah,
I
bigger
get
thrill?
more- Pardon?
Bigger thrill in horse racing? Or
Well, put it this way: since South won the comp in 2014, I like rugby league and I enjoy it, but I don't care as much for it because I've seen them win now. It was like a
that
quest.
drought. Oh, that was a
It was a
killer.
quest to see it happen, and then like growing up as a kid,
Yeah.
you guys obviously
you're just
South-
waiting for it?
my whole life. Like
we only
didn't think
lived
it'd
through-
ever happen,
Yeah, we only lived through like half of that drought, not
Yeah,
even.
see, I lived through a lot of bad years, but after that, it's sort of like I still love it. I'm still very passionate about it, but I'd much prefer horse racing than NRL.
Yeah, 100%.
Last question, this or that, best horse in Oz, Animo or Nature Strip?
I'd say Animo because he's more versatile. Like Nature Strip is the best sprinter that we've got, but he's only going to win up to 1,200 metres. It might go to 1,400, but I think Animo's proven that he can win Group 1s from 1,400 out to 2,000 metres, and he's probably a little bit more versatile. Like that's probably being a little bit harsh than Nature Strip to a degree, but he's done it over a number of seasons, and Animo's sort of the new kid on the block. But I like horses that can sort of do a little bit more than just one distance.
Even on the weekend, we saw it just handle that bend terribly and just took a while to wind up.
He's just a machine. And look, he still might have the best yet to come. Like he's only just early season 4-year-old. He might be his favourite for a Cox Plate. He might win a Cox Plate.
Probably will.
Nature Strip he's a machine. But I'd prefer to own Animo long term. Even though Nature Strip will the prize money's got in the bank.
The stud value.
Definitely.
So do you think that Waller and J-Max a better combo, or J-Mac and Cummings?
I couldn't say either way, to be honest. Like they're both, well, all three of them are very good in their own right. James is an outstanding trainer. So too Chris, but they've got unlimited resources at their disposal. I think James is the best jockey in Australia, and I think he sort of deserves that, and he gets on those terrific horses.
He
as
gets
a result.
brilliant rides.
He gets great opportunities as a result of. He doesn't make any mistakes.
It's good.
Like, rarely. He makes less mistakes than the others.
And he's got that confidence about him that you need a good Group 1 jockey to do.
Definitely. Yeah, like he just, and I think that he's not arrogant, but he's just like confident in his own ability.
He always backs himself.
And he's got the ability to know that if he happens to put in a bad one, Chris is not going to sack him, or James is not going to sack him in one ride either.
And the last this or that. So would you rather tip every Group 1 winner, but you can't put a single cent of your own money on it, or you win every Group 1 bet, but you don't tell a single soul? So
no, I'd be happy to fill my own pocket. Tip them, that's for sure. Well, at the end of the day, we've got to live.
Yeah, you're right.
Mate, the inflation's going up. Housing's not cheap.
I don't blame you.
Yes, I know I work in tipping horses, but I'd much rather put cash in my pocket.
Than the fame.
Look,
definitely.
We'd definitely do the same to all our tipping followers.
Definitely. The way we tip, 100%.
We need a few. And so the last segment is play on or penalty.
Yep.
So it basically just comes from NRL. So it's either play on, you agree with it, or penalty, not even. Or if you completely disagree with it, it's sin bin or send off.
Okay, so here we go.
So the first one is declaring something as a moral. Play on or penalty?
Penalty.
Penalty?
Yeah,
Hate
it's
it?
a bad word, a moral. Because like nothing is a moral. Like anything that can go wrong on a racetrack eventually will go wrong. And it's 100%. All factored into the price. So like if something is $1.10, yes, it's expected to win, but there's still a 10% chance it get beat.
That's
10% is not actually that small. If you run it 10 times.
We've seen it that many times happen.
Exactly. So just, nothing is a moral. There's no such thing as a
sin
moral.
bin? Are we going sin bin that far? Or just a penalty?
I'd be sent off. Yeah,
sent off.
Yeah,
wow.
Sent off,
you don't like a moral.
Get the M word out of here.
Marsh, Ashley Klein, really sort of like
go.
Yeah, Hargraves. Tunnel, you're off.
He's grade 3. Okay, next one is play on or penalty, betting on $1.30 favourite.
Well, it depends. Like if you think $1.30 chance, like say it was a game of rugby league and it's Penrith full strength versus
Warriors, Tigers.
The Tigers with a couple of players out, and you're getting $1.30, and it's a genuine dollar.
There's actually value somehow.
Yeah, there is value. It's like don't let the actual number dictate whether you think it's value or not. Like it's what you perceive it should be, and if the price is bigger than what you believe it should be, well then it's value in your opinion, not necessarily the $1.30, or even if it's $10. If you don't think it's value at $10, it's not value. That's the way you got to sort of treat it, rather than just looking at the
so if you're
the actual
pricing
number.
at like 20 and it's $10, like,
no, exactly. That's the way you got to be. That's the way you got to be. And if you think it's $1.10 chance, and it's $1.30, $1.40, it could be nearly the best bet you've ever had in your life.
That's true. Yeah. So you got to weigh it up.
I'm
with
happy
the
to take short odds if I think I'm getting the right price,
and you're getting a bit of value.
Yes,
I know $1.30 not value.
Well, like it doesn't seem like there is, but $1.30 is still juicy if you think it's literally. Well, put it this way: if I said to you whether the sun will come up tomorrow morning, I'll give you $1.30.
Take it.
It's a moral.
Exactly.
Odds on, get on.
That's a moral.
There's no issues with that at all.
Yeah, exactly. Another one. So play on or penalty, the early crow before the 100-meter mark.
Look, it's hard to resist. I'm not going to put it in the sin bin, but I am going to give it a penalty. Yeah, sometimes you're just like, oh, this is home. And how many times do you feel sick in the stomach?
And then something flies from the back.
Yeah, definitely.
Like,
but
for me, it's penalty. I hate when there's someone behind me and they don't have money on the race and they're going, oh, well done, you're home, and they're offering high five. Yeah. Please just wait till the final
sometimes
post.
You can't avoid it. Yep. Sometimes the unexpected happens. But I'd largely say maybe even just a ruck infringement.
Yep.
Like, six again.
Six again. Yeah. Tackle restart.
Inside the 40.
Set restart.
Yeah, 100%.
100 metres a bit far. Maybe like 20, 50 out, then
set restart.
You get a call.
Who do you think, apart from yourself, obviously, the best tipsters in the game?
Look, I work with a guy called Ben Ascari, and I think he does a really, really good job.
He's always in and around, isn't he?
Yeah, he does. He's a hard worker. He knows his stuff. He doesn't like he's not one that likes to sort of go for the main metros and the Group 1 meetings and things. Like follow him on a Sunday or a Friday or a Thursday night, like those meetings around the fringes. He's very, very good.
He's in.
I think he's one of the best judges going around.
Oh, wow. How's he stack up compared to you?
No, he's probably a better judge than me.
Yeah.
But he's just very good. Yeah, like I speak to him a lot, and we talk a lot. But I think he's an underrated judge. I'll put it that way. Yeah.
Love it. Be following him then.
Yeah,
this weekend.
I think he's very, very good.
We got a lot of punting followers that listen to us. Is there any advice that you can sort of give them to them, or even tell them the worst advice you've ever received?
Look, being patient, I think, is the biggest advice. Because you can get a rush of blood, whether you're betting on sport, racing, doesn't matter. And look, we've all done it.
Yeah.
But trying to sort of stay as patient as you possibly can, and possibly being specialised, like you're saying about where you think you've got an edge or where you think you know what you're doing. Stick there and bet into that rather than sort of trying to be scattergun approach. Which look, we all like to have a little bit of fun, but if you want to take it more seriously, try and be as specialised as possible.
Really
that's the hardest part, I think.
Yeah.
Trying to just stick to one thing.
And look, and we all just love sort of saying, oh, he might be able to make a little bit quick cash here. As soon as you think that. Yeah. You might get lucky, but long term, it's probably not the right way to go about it.
We have like a tagline for people that follow us. So we go back cast, never last.
Yeah.
We're thinking, do you have one for BZ? We come up with BZ, get well fed.
I am well fed. I don't really have any sort of taglines. It's sort of funny the way that the nickname sort of evolved in my sort of. With me, but I'm happy with BZ. BZ doesn't really bother me. But in terms of a tagline,
you don't have one?
Get fed.
Nah.
What about next time you're on racing.com? Can you give us a little pistol? Next time you tip one for us?
My style. I'll happily. Definitely.
Not a show.
Definitely.
If you tip another $30 winner, then you can do a pistol.
Yeah, maybe on good.
So you probably wouldn't play for Penrith Panthers.
No, definitely.
So we are conscious of time, but just before we sort of wrap up, any horses for some future meetings in the spring that you can steer our followers into?
Without notice, just trying to think. I think I Wish I Win got beat the other day, and
it didn't even place.
No, I think it's a better horse than what it produced there the other day. I think it can be forgiven. Yeah, I think it might be able to bounce back. Horses to follow.
What about tip for the Everest? Hard to go past Nature Strip.
I think Nature Strip is lengths above the rest. It's not 100%. Funny. I just think he's proven it on multiple occasions. On grand final day, he's way too good for him. I think the track's going to be up on speed. You're not going to be making much ground there.
Very
around
hard to beat.
Again, I'd be expecting I don't think it's much of a betting race, to be honest. I think they're racing for second. Yeah, definitely.
Would you say it's an M?
No, I wouldn't say it's an M.
Come on, you can say.
Don't say it. You're going to curse it.
I don't want to say it, but no, I think he's a very, very good chip. But that's obvious. Everyone can see
everyone
can see
best sprinter in Australia.
Depends what sort of price you get. Well, we appreciate you coming on and joining the Cast Patrol for today. And we're very thankful. And we'll keep watching.
Keep up the good work.
Get on. Cheers.
And you'll be replacing Jimmy from now on. Good stuff.
All the best.
Tuesday night recording. Nice. See you soon.
No worries.
See you guys.
See you guys. Bye.